A century ago was a time of great upheaval. The Industrial Revolution was in full swing. Technological innovations were sweeping the globe. Communications technologies such as the telephone and telegraph enabled the rapid exchange of ideas, dramatically changing the world in ways unseen since the introduction of the printing press. Just after the turn of the 20th century, a man named Henry Ford introduced an innovation that would forever alter the American landscape and culture. The innovation? The Model T Ford, the first mass-produced automobile. Can you imagine what it must have been like to be a parent or teacher in the era when cars were first coming on the scene? How intimidating must it have been to face a world of combustion engines, having grown up and been educated in a world of horse and buggies. People were zooming around at speeds never before possible, and to the uninitiated, it must have been dizzying. The Model T offered new freedoms and conveniences. Farmers living in isolated rural areas, which included most people back then, were no longer as separated from other people as they once were. The Model T allowed quick runs to town for supplies, and many farmers even modified their Ts to serve as tractors in an age when horsepower truly meant what it said. When my grandpa was a boy, his father bought a Model T. It was a wonderful addition to the farm, increasing productivity and decreasing travel times from place to place. However, there was one small but common problem with the Model T. It had no fuel pump. The gasoline was fed to the engine by gravity, which meant that going up really steep hills was a challenge. If the car tipped backwards too far, air would get into the system, the fuel wouldn't flow, and the engine would stall. But my grandpa, as a youngster, figured out if he put the car in reverse and backed up the hill, it would work just fine. Doesn't this sound familiar? If the adults can't figure out a piece of technology, just ask a kid. Parents and educators today face a similar predicament, don't they? Today's parents and teachers were mostly raised prior to the age of digital innovation, and each new device seems to add to the complexity and increase the pace of life. It's called future shock, and it's what we feel when the world for which we were educated no longer fits what we were experiencing. The trick, as educators and parents, is to, as much as possible, minimize the effects of future shock on our kids. It's hard to believe it now, but even using a simple technology such as the dial telephone was daunting to our ancestors. For example, this training video shows how to place a direct dial call instead of going through a telephone operator. Every new technology goes through this phase of uncertainty, but after a while, if it's adopted, we all use it as if it were always completely natural. It is important to be aware that control of information equals power. Whoever controls the information controls the power. In the Middle Ages, literacy was a privilege for the elite because the books were handwritten by scribes. Most people could not read or write, and information was typically transmitted by the word of mouth. With the introduction of the printing press, literacy spread as books of all subjects and languages became available. What was once the protected, privileged domain of elite scribes became available to anyone who could gain access to a printing press. Kids today have access to digital printing presses, and radio stations, and television studios, and because they are using digital tools on a globally connected network, what they publish is indelible and will be archived forever.
Raise your hand if you made a mistake in puberty. Raise your hand. Raise your hand, anyone? Here's the second question. Can I Google it?
Educator and tech guru Kevin Honeycutt asks an important question.
Our kids are blogging, tweeting their entire lives. Oh, this is wonderful, and this is terrifying. at the same time? Because who's mentoring them to build a digital legacy that they are proud of?
The Read-Write Web, or Web 2.0, is the publishing web. It's so simple to use that even a small child is able to use it. My daughter works far more intensely on improving her literacy skills when writing for a global audience on her blog than I ever did as a youngster, writing for an audience of one teacher. Blogging isn't currently part of the curriculum at her school, but that doesn't stop her from interacting with teachers who do use Web 2.0 tools. At the beginning of this school year, she and I discovered a net-savvy teacher called Mrs. Yolis from California, who posted this welcome message for her third graders.
Hey everybody, it's Mrs. Yolis. Welcome back. I had a fantastic summer.
We thought it was a good idea for a teacher to have a welcome video, so we made a video reply to tell her so.
Hi, Mrs. Yolis.
This is Science Girl.
Who?
Teachers who do take advantage of digital tools report powerful results. Connecticut middle school teacher Paul Bogish asked his 8th grade social studies students, "How has blogging changed you?" They said things like this: "When I was in 7th grade, I had no idea what a blog was. I thought blogging was something really weird people do. And then when I came to 8th grade, Mr. Bogish taught the class how you can communicate with other people from around the world and write about current events in the world and discuss them. Knowing that the whole world is able to see what I'm writing makes me think twice about putting something up there. It makes me check my work more carefully, and it motivates me to do my best work." Mr. Bogish is unafraid to dive in with new technologies. His students are seen here placing a call for a project called Lunchtime Leaders Podcast. The kids do all of the work putting these programs together, from requesting the interviews to writing and asking the questions. They're a little nervous here, and you'll soon see why.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hi.
Hi there. It's the governor.
Yeah, they're interviewing their state's governor.
We really appreciate you taking the time to be interviewed.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
You can listen to these amazing kids at lunchtimeleaders.podbean.com. The implications for what teachers like these are doing with digital tools are staggering. Students need no longer to be confined to the four walls of the classroom in physical space where they happen to be located geographically. They no longer need to learn about the world only through textbooks and other professionally made media. They can experience the world directly. Digital technology can literally bring the world to them and them to the world.